And so we begin with Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, and we will now start off the school mode, as we have a total of 6 lessons to do in the green section, and this is more or less an overview of just how many lessons we have to do, excluding the coffee breaks. We have a total of 6 lessons to do in each of the sections, and that's if you exclude the coffee breaks. I will, of course, try my best to see if I can get the gold on each of those, because I am hardcore like that. And aside from that, we also get 6 lessons in each of the sections. However, the section after the red section will have a few more lessons, to say the least. But anyway, let's actually begin with Lesson 1 of the school mode in Gran Turismo 4 Prologue. Learn the basics of steering 1. Your first experience of circuit racing on a beginner's course. So, there are no bronze targets for now. Basically, we can more or less take this as easy as we want, but the gold time is 1 minute and 47 seconds, whereas a silver time is 1 minute and 48 seconds. So, let's begin by driving 2 laps around the beginner course in a Mazda Daimio.
Welcome to the first lesson of Gran Turismo 4 Prologue. This lesson takes place on the beginner's course in the driving park, a short circuit designed for racing practice. For this lesson, take 2 relaxed laps around the course. The engine of the car has been limited to enable a maximum speed of just 50 km per hour. The time limit is very generous, so this is your chance to take a nice slow drive without concern for the remaining time or your driving speed. What you must concentrate on, however, is staying on the track, so make sure you do, no matter how slowly you need to drive to do it. If you go off the track, you'll be disqualified. Just think of it as a Sunday drive. You'll see a line indicating the smoothest route displayed on the road surface. If you follow this line, you can get a feel for the correct racing line, a vital technique in circuit racing. While driving, take time to consider what makes that particular line the ideal one. Take careful note of the timing and severity of the corners, and learn how to take corners correctly without spinning. As a general rule, your steering should be gradual and minimal. Good luck with the lesson.
Yeah, by the way, the background narrator that we get for explaining each of these lessons, the name of that woman is called Vicky, from what I know. Even though I didn't do any further research in the manual to be sure of this, but anyway, this is our description. Drive 2 laps on this beginner's course, with 1 big and 1 small corner, without going off the track. Get used to the mechanics of steering whilst practicing the out-in-out technique. I should also mention, this car, for this lesson, it has a restrictor plate fitted, which is why it is limited to just 50 kilometers an hour, which I think is equivalent to about 31, maybe 32 miles per hour if I'm not mistaken. But either way, this car is limited to 50 k's, and we have to cope with that. But anyway, yeah. It's more or less to just get you used to how to handle the car. And what I've also established from this is you don't need to upshift. Basically, you just need to be in first gear, and you'll basically gain a lot of time by using the curbs. Those curbs will be very helpful for you hitting the target time if you are going for the gold, and that is more or less what I am doing, because when I was getting myself back into this game, I did actually discover that you could gain a fair chunk of time by using the curbs, and that's precisely what I am doing now, because I realised this. Driving on the curbs will help you gain a chunk of time, at least in one of these two corners, from what I have established. I may not get this on the gold first try, but then again, you're not normally expected to get this on the gold first try, but again, there is a reason why I'm using the curbs, because they can help me gain some crucial seconds, at least in terms of me going for an effort that will be gold worthy, from what I know at least. This won't work every time, but from what I know at least, the curbs do provide a pretty useful driving line in terms of giving you the pace. But as to how much pace, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And is it enough? Yes, it is enough. By just under 4/10, I have got the gold. And for this, I'm going to use my initials. The initials that make up my full name, and you probably already know what two of those initials are, so I don't really think you need to know what the A stands for. But that's more or less how you get the gold on Test 1. Well, Lesson 1 to be more specific. And yes, I am pretty sure the reason why this car for this lesson is limited to 50 kilometers an hour is because it has a restrictor plate, from what I know. But anyway, there we go. That's our first lesson done, and now we have just 5 lessons to go. I won't save the replay. Not yet, anyway. And also, as a result of us passing the lesson, we get the Mazda 2. Oh yeah, correction, this is the Mazda 2, not the Mazda Daimio. I got confused. It is actually the Mazda 2, not the Mazda Daimio, even though both cars do look quite similar to one another with that particular model. But anyway, on to Lesson 2. Learn the basics of steering 2. Cone slalom practice on the Fuji International Speedway. So this time we do have a limit for how slow we need to be. So the minimum time we need to set is 13 seconds for a bronze, 12.2 seconds for a silver, and 12.18 seconds is what we need for a gold. I don't think this is going to be too hard, so I might as well just get on with it.
Welcome to Lesson 2. In this lesson, you'll learn about the most important aspect of driving skill, steering. This lesson takes place on the Fuji International Speedway. Traffic cones are positioned on the final straight. Change from lane to lane without hitting the cones. Also, be careful of how much you turn the car. Try to get a feel for how the car moves with just a slight turn. Mastering the sensitivity of steering will become a crucial foundation for your more advanced racing skills. The car you will be using for this lesson is not high-powered, but the same basic techniques apply to all cars. Remember, make sure you steer the car slowly and gradually. Good luck in your lesson.
Thank you, Vicky. I always appreciate the additional motivation. Anyway, here we go. Lesson 2. As much as I am not really a fan of cone slalom tests, they do serve their purpose because it shows you how the car moves when you're steering in both directions. So, try changing lanes on the Fuji Speedway's home straight by following the line through the cones. Learn the relationship between the amount of steering and the movement of the car. So let's actually get on with this. And if you want to ask how I'm steadily revving the car, well, that's because I'm using analog controls for my acceleration and braking, and I did not think that was going to be a gold first try, but I'm so amazed to say that it was. Main headline... Sorry, breaking news. I scored the gold in Lesson 2 first try. That's probably the first and only time you're going to hear me say that. But anyway, yeah. So you know, there is that. Alrighty, 2 lessons down, 4 lessons to go. Let's see how we go with lesson number 3. As we have now got the Honda Jazz. I should also mention this car is a hybrid. But you probably already knew that. Anyway. Time for lesson 3. Braking for beginners. Bring your car to a halt in the stopping zone. So these are our required times. So we need 37.5 seconds to pass, 36.8 seconds for a silver, and 36.6 seconds for a gold. So, let's head on to lesson number 3.
Welcome to lesson 3. In this lesson, you'll learn about effective braking. This is just as important a racing technique as gradual steering. With racing games, many players simply try to go as fast as possible, neglecting brake application altogether. This lesson is your chance to learn to use that often forgotten brake. So, when you start, accelerate quickly and head straight for the goal area. In the goal area, you'll see a zone indicating your stop position. Keep your eyes on this zone and brake hard and fast to bring the car to a sudden halt. On your first try, you'll probably go past the stopping area, but don't worry. On your next try, just apply the brake a bit earlier. Be careful not to brake too early or you'll stop before reaching the stopping zone. Full acceleration, followed by sudden braking, achieving the proper timing for this sequence is no easy task. To pass this lesson with flying colours, try to remember the physical surroundings when you apply the brakes. With each try, you'll gain more understanding of the point at which to brake in order to be accurate. Good luck in your lesson.
Alright, let's get on with lesson number 3, where we are now driving a Nissan Micra. Practice hard braking on Fuji Speedway's home straight. Get used to the braking point to allow you to come to a halt in the designated area. So those are our required times. To those of you who have known me long enough, I will obviously go for the gold. But anyway, before I continue ranting, let's get on with lesson number 3. Oh yeah, one other thing I should mention is, I did also do some practice with a couple of these lessons whilst I was getting myself back into the usage of this game. So if you're asking me why I'm doing well so far, well, it's because I did these lessons before, and it is fair to say it's currently benefiting me quite amazingly. Well, not quite the gold, but again, I wasn't expecting it to be. I probably braked a little bit too early there, but let's try again. I know what to do this time. And this time I get a slightly better start than what I did before. I'm only 0.06 of a second off, so I just need to make sure that I brake a little bit later and then I should have the gold. I knew it wasn't going to be a hat trick of golds in all honesty, but then again, I have no problems with that, because I know precisely what to do this time. And this time, I get the gold by less than 1.5 tenths. And you know what? I think I'm gonna save this replay now. I think it's enough for me to more or less make a start with this. with my gold time being 36.459. Braking for beginners, Micra 12C 5-door. And yes, I will save it. This is also how we can save the replay. And something else I should mention is I did actually get myself a 128 megabyte PlayStation 2 memory card for just this sort of thing. Because I will probably be using my PlayStation 2 quite regularly from this point until I decide to go back to my PlayStation 3 again at some point. But nonetheless, we're doing good so far. So, not quite a hat-trick of golds in the end, but in all honesty, I don't really care about setting streaks, because, well, I still got the gold anyway, so that's all I really care about. Anyway, knowing cornering speed limits, how to balance car speed and steering techniques. So we need 21.2 seconds for a gold, 21.4 seconds for a silver, and 22 seconds for a bronze. Now we move on to lesson 4.
Welcome to lesson 4. This lesson takes place on the second corner of the beginner's course in the driving park. In this lesson, you'll learn that once a car is travelling at a certain speed, no amount of steering will enable you to turn a corner correctly. This is a basic aspect of car physics. When a car doesn't respond to steering on a corner, drivers often try to steer into the corner even harder. The car still fails to turn and they end up ploughing off the track, a common sight in racing games. In this lesson, you'll learn a fundamental driving concept. In order to negotiate a turn correctly, you must slow down. When you first set off and you're accelerating, the car responds well and turns as you enter the first corner. Some way through the turn, you find the car edging towards the outside, heading for trouble. No matter how much you steer, the car will simply not respond. This means your cornering speed is too high. The next time this happens and you find yourself drifting off the line, decelerate. By decelerating and lowering your speed, the car will stop its drift towards the outside of the corner and begin to regain its position on the line, and thus regaining its ability to turn. This rule applies to all of the upcoming lessons, so bear it in mind. Okay, good luck with your lesson.
And now we move on to lesson number 4 of the green section, as well as also of this game. Use part of the beginner's course to experience the limits of cornering speed. Learn that upon reaching certain speeds, the car will not turn correctly no matter how much you steer. So basically, in order to get the gold here, you basically need to maintain a certain speed through the corner in order to keep it on the track without running wide. So what you more or less need to do is accelerate up to about probably 82 k's and then just steadily work your way through the corner, and then you should be good. And boy did I turn out to be good on that first run. 20.97 seconds is what I set to open that. So I think it's fair to say that my prior experience is definitely helping me here so far. But anyway, so that is now 4 lessons down and 2 to go for the green section, as we now win the Toyota IST. That's all I'm going to say. And yes, I should mention this car is a Toyota, because I have driven every single car in the arcade mode. Pretty much every car in this game is what I've driven. Anyway, learn the basics of steering. 3. Learn the out-in-out cornering technique. So we need a 1 minute 3.3 for a gold, 1 minute 4.2 for a silver, and a minute 10 for a bronze. 2 lessons to go in the green section, I should also mention.
Welcome to Lesson 5. In this lesson, you'll be driving on the beginner's course in the driving park from Lesson 1. You must negotiate 2 bends, one large and one small. The larger corner has a 60-metre radius, the small a 30-metre radius. This lesson differs from previous tests in that there is no speed limiter on the engine of the car you'll be using. You'll need to apply the brakes before entering corners and control your speed during cornering. Try to follow the ideal line as displayed on the track. You'll notice that at the entrance to a corner, the line follows the outside. In the middle of the corner, or apex, it moves to the inside, and at the exit of the corner once again, follows the outside. This indicates the fundamental racing concept of taking a corner out, in, out. By taking this line, you can freely accelerate through the exit of the corner. As a result, you can increase speed for the next straight and improve your overall time. Practice this and bear in mind the other skills you've accumulated so far. Remember to brake properly, don't steer too hard and watch the racing line. Best of luck with your lesson.
I'm just going to let this demonstration run finish, just so you have an idea of what it is you more or less need to do. Also, another thing I should mention, in order for my capture card to compensate with recording on my PlayStation 2, I also made sure to lower the frames per second down to 30, so it would not be over the fucking frame rate that is expected of, well, the console itself. So, do 2 laps on this beginner's course without going off the track. Learn about the car's movement at its limits, with detailed application of steering and acceleration through both the big and small corners. Alright, let's go. We will get on with Lesson 5 of School Mode. And since we are going a bit faster now than we were before, it will of course be essential for us to now apply the brakes. Because, well, we are driving a Mazda MX-5, and also because, well, this car is pretty powerful. So we do actually have to watch how fast we are going through the corners now compared to before. Probably braked a little bit too early there, but either way, I did manage to maintain my speed, and now we just have 1 corner left. Although the driving line does not show you that you have to brake, you basically do have to brake in order to make it through the corners. And what do you know, I get the gold by nearly 1.1 seconds. What a difference having prior experience can make. That's part of the reason why I'm doing so well at the moment. And why with literally 4 out of these last 5 lessons, I have now got the gold first try. Which in all honesty surprises me a little because, well, obviously having prior experience helps, but I did not think I was going to be doing quite this well to start with. I thought for sure there was going to be at least 1 or 2 lessons I would struggle with, but amazingly, that's not the case. And now we just have 1 lesson to go. Basics of driving on a dirt surface. Experience the dynamics of driving on a dirt surface. So we need 2 minutes 28 for a gold and 2 minutes 29.5 for a silver. I think this is going to be where the trial and error really begins. Anyway, here we go.
Welcome to Lesson 6. In this lesson, you'll experience driving on a dirt course. This lesson takes place on the Grand Canyon mini track, a specially created course just off the Grand Canyon rally course. There's plenty of time to finish, so don't rush it. Just take a nice slow run around the course. This lesson's designed not to get the best time, but to help you familiarise yourself with the physical properties of this rally car designed for a dirt-based course. The main difference between a dirt course and tarmac is just that the surface is more slippery. As a result, the car reacts to your controls a fraction later than normal. Also, notice that the rear tyres lose their grip when cornering. You'll also need to steer much more to get a suitable response from the car. While on a tarmac or paved road, you control the car slowly and gradually, on a dirt road, control is quick and sudden, not refined. Since this is your introductory run on a dirt road, take it slowly and cautiously. Be careful not to go off the track or run into barriers. Well then, good luck with your lesson.
Thank you, Vicky. I will more or less enjoy driving this Suzuki Alto Works once I eventually do manage to get all the kinks worked out. So, here's our description. Drive 5 laps of this special off-road course, making sure you don't collide with the track boundaries. Learn delicate control of the car when driving on a surface with less friction and how to cope with reduced tyre grip. This is probably going to take me a few tries to get there, but in all honesty, I'm pretty content with that because I have done this before and I don't expect myself to get this one on the gold first try. Still not quite getting the launch I had before, but I more or less know what I need to do here. I should have shifted up into third for that corner, then I would have had stronger balance. I would have had a bit more balance in the car if I did upshift into third, and therefore a stronger corner entry. But whatever. Just gotta make sure I stay on top of my ghost by less than 2/10, and then I think I should be good. Yep. Somehow that actually worked for me. Somehow me actually sliding through the corner actually helped me to get a stronger corner exit than what I was anticipating. Probably because I had more acceleration from the car as a result. But either way, it's helping me to stay ahead of my ghost, and I will just roll with that because it's helping me. Alright, 2 laps to go. Let's try and see if we can keep this car within the confines of the track, and then I think we should be fine. A little slow on the exit there, but still able to stay ahead. I'm still on target for now. Just gotta make sure I don't hit the wall, and this time I stay off the wall. And now we just have a few corners to go, as I am basically content with running my car in third gear now. And no mistakes off the last corner, and there we go. By over a quarter of a second, we got the gold. And thus now ends part 1 of school mode, which is good because it means we can now move on to collecting our prize car. It's actually not too hard to get the gold once you get used to it, but you probably will need some time to get used to driving on the dirt, especially here at Grand Canyon. By the way, the mini track only features in this game. It does not feature in Gran Turismo 4, unfortunately. Anyway, this is the car we get for all gold in the green section. The Toyota Motor Triathlon race car. I'm pretty sure this car was never made to be production.
Nice work. You finished the green section. Now try the orange section.
So that's what we get for completing our first section of the school mode. And now we have to do another 6 lessons plus a coffee break in order for us to advance to the next section. So here is my progress so far. We have done the green section, and next up is the orange section, which is what we will be doing next time on Gran Turismo 4 Prologue.